right, good evening and welcome to News 11, back for another semester. How are you, Anina?
I'm great. I'm so excited to be back.
Yes, and I know you have an exciting story about the village of Fredonia.
We do. So that is right. Fredonia has landed a spot on a reality TV show. The village beat other towns from across the country for the location of the show Small Business Revolution. The show announced Fredonia's win January 28th at the Opera House, and filming will start in March. The show will be donating $500,000 to try to revamp local businesses. Ty Pennington, formerly known as the host of Extreme Makeover Home Edition, and Amanda Brinkman, a brand marketer, have hosted the show for the past 4 seasons. The 5th season will be airing sometime this fall and will be available to watch on streaming services such as Hulu and Amazon.
Well, it's definitely great news for the village, and on-campus Fredonia gamers now have a place to call home. January 24th was the grand opening for the new esports lounge in Schultz Hall. The lounge is decked out in Fredonia colors. The couches, chairs, carpets, and lights are all blue. Gamers can now watch games on large TV screens and play on 3 different types of consoles. There are also 3 Alienware gaming desktop computers. The esports club hopes by having the lounge, it will get more members because now they have the equipment that some potential members had been lacking.
And Fredonia campus administrators are following suit with a statewide initiative to reduce our carbon footprint. New hours of operation for certain academic buildings across campus will begin February 15th. Buildings will have official opening and closing times for the day, and their respective heating, cooling, and electricity consumption will be reduced. The hours have been slated to work around class and lab times. Fredonia Finance and Administration says by establishing open hours of the building, utility expenses, overtime expenses, and cleaning expenses can be adjusted accordingly. The new policy will affect Fenton Hall, Thompson Hall, and the Science Center.
All right, and we'll be right back with your national headlines. What happened with the impeachment, the Iowa caucus, and the first presidential primaries in a minute.
What happened?
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos. Lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda poco a poco aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job!
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone the cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
We finally have a conclusion to a process that started 4.5 months ago. Back in September, the U.S. House of Representatives officially launched an impeachment inquiry against President Trump. On December 18th, the House then officially impeached the president. The trial in the Senate began on January 16th of this year, lasting almost 3 weeks. On February 4th, the day before the verdict, Trump gave the annual State of the Union address, which included radio host Rush Limbaugh receiving the Medal of Freedom, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi ripping up her copy of the speech. President Trump was acquitted on both articles of impeachment the next day. After the acquittal, Trump gave a victory speech in the White House.
I've done things wrong in my life, I will admit. Not purposely, but I've done things wrong. But this is what the end result is. So, you could take that home, honey. Maybe we'll frame it. It's the only good headline I've ever had in the Washington Post.
With the impeachment over, House Democrats don't have many arrows left to fire, and the focus is now turned to this year's presidential campaign trail, with Donald Trump clearly in the lead for the Republicans.
The Democrats, however, don't have a clear frontrunner yet. At the first major contest of the race, the 2020 Iowa caucus was surrounded by controversy. An event generally seen as a symbol of the democratic process soon saw several hiccups. This year, the caucus used digital voting with a newly developed phone-based application. However, this reporting app failed, causing thousands of votes to be incorrectly entered into the system. Then, Iowa state's backup plans failed. These failures led to lengthy delays in counting votes. Final results came through 3 days after the February 3rd vote. The caucus faced heavy criticism, with presidential candidate Bernie Sanders stating that the process is far too complicated. Once the final results were reported, Pete Buttigieg got the most delegates, surprising many.
However, Bernie Sanders won the popular vote, and since then, things have shifted. The second contest of the primaries was held in New Hampshire last night, February 11th. This time, Sanders came out in the lead, followed by Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, and Joe Biden. NBC News reports that the Democratic Party might be uncomfortable with Sanders as the potential nominee because Democratic Party politics have been moderate in the past compared to Sanders. But for now, all we can do is watch as the next primary votes start to roll in. Nevada and South Carolina are the last 2 Saturdays of the month, and Super Tuesday, the day 14 states vote, is March 3rd. All right, time for weather now with Haley Pop. Hi, Haley.
Hi.
How was your break?
It was nice. It was a nice break, but I'm very happy to be back.
Great. So what's going on with weather?
So, there is a winter weather advisory watch for tonight starting at 7 p.m. and ending tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We are looking up to 11-mile-per-hour winds and 3 to 5 inches of snow. The rest of the week will be snowy as well. Thursday into Friday, we could see up to another 7 inches of snow and 16-mile-per-hour winds. Saturday will be partly cloudy with a high of 31 and possible snow showers that evening. There will be a 50% chance of snow Sunday morning and a high of 36. Monday and Tuesday will bring highs of 38 and 46, but will be joined with high chance of snow showers throughout the day.
Definitely will have my coat ready.
Yes, definitely.
I fell outside the studio the other day, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because Anina got locked out of the station, and after I let her in, I was scurrying back to my car and fell on my hip and ankle. So, thanks, Anina. So, make sure, I was wearing my Crocs though, so probably the proper footwear was not at play.
Yeah.
That's for sure. All right, well, thank you, Haley. And ahead in your international news, the virus one doctor warned about ends up taking his life. Brexit is over, and Antarctica hits record temperatures. We'll be back.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos, lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda, poco a poco, aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay, because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone the cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates, our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back. In China, the death of Li Wenlian has sparked outrage. He was the doctor who initially warned others of the deadly coronavirus. While some are attempting to voice their opinions on Wenlian's death, the Chinese government is on their tails, erasing any trace of posts that would show any sign of freedom of speech over his death. So far, the coronavirus has infected more than 43,000 people, 13 of them American, all of which have been quarantined. However, the continually rising number of deaths from the virus is now more than 1,000.
Anina, thank you. Some alarming news regarding the global climate crisis. Antarctica hit a record high temperature last week. The Antarctic Peninsula reached -3 degrees Celsius, which equates to 64.9 degrees Fahrenheit. The former record was in March of 2015 at 17.5 degrees Celsius, according to the World Meteorological Organization. Antarctica is one of the fastest warming regions on the planet.
And after almost 4 years, Brexit is over. The UK has officially left the European Union. But now the UK has to focus on making a trade deal with the remaining EU countries. While the UK government tries to figure out these new deals, the country is in a transition period that will last until the end of this year. During this transition period, not much will be changing, but some EU leaders have voiced that they don't think a deal can be made in just a couple of months. Should the UK need more time, they can ask for an extension on the transition period, but they will need to ask before July 1st. Although an extension is possible, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he has no intentions on extending the transition period. And Kevin Syracuse is here with us now for a look at sports. So, no more Bills to talk about.
Well, we
What do
did
we
have the
have?
Super Bowl. The Bills weren't in, but it was a great game. Did you watch it?
I did not.
Come on. It was good because the Patriots weren't in it, so it was just two good teams. I didn't care who won, and Kansas City won their first Super Bowl in 50 years, so I was happy for the Chiefs. But maybe next year for the Bills, right?
Yeah, maybe next year. I did see a lot about the halftime show. What'd you think of that?
It was a good show.
You think?
Now, they had Shakira and J-Lo, so maybe they'll have two people from now on. So
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah, but as for the college sports here, the men's basketball team lost at Brockport last night, 104-57. This was a 7th consecutive loss for the Blue Devils, as they now sit 3 games behind Geneseo for the 6th and final playoff spot with just 3 games to play. The women's team also lost to the Golden Eagles as they dropped their game 68-57. They are currently 9-13 overall and 5-10 in conference play, while Oneonta is in 6th place with an overall record of 8-12 and a conference record of 5-8. Both the men and the women will host New Paltz and Oneonta this Friday and Saturday before closing out the regular season next Saturday at home versus Buff State. The Fredonia State hockey team defeated Plattsburgh 5-0 Friday night thanks to 2 goals from Jasper Cork-on-Barley and a 33-save shutout by senior goalie Anton Rosen. The team then tied 4-4 with Potsdam Saturday night on Pink the Rink night. Victor Tracy scored 2 goals, including the go-ahead 4th goal, before the Bears tied it up with a minute 22 left in the game. This was the 14th year of Pink the Rink, as the event has now raised $98,000 for cancer awareness. The Blue Devils now have 7 points and are 3 points behind Morrisville and Cortland for the 6th and final playoff spot. They will be at Brockport on Friday and then will host Geneseo Saturday for senior night before finishing the season at Cortland and Oswego next weekend. And finally, the Buffalo Sabres defeated the Detroit Red Wings last night at KeyBank Center 3-2. Connor Sheary, Marcus Johansson, and Sam Reinhart scored for the Sabres as Carter Hutton made 27 saves. In what appears to be their 9th consecutive season without a postseason berth, the Sabres now are 10 points out of the playoffs as they host Columbus tomorrow night.
All right, thank you, Kevin. I'm looking forward to some more Sabres news coming up the next few weeks.
Hopefully it's good news. The trade deadline is coming up on the 24th, so maybe we'll have some action there. Botterill needs to do something if they want any chance of the playoffs, so we'll see.
We'll see. And we'll be back after a break for one more look at the weather and some odd news stories.
I almost laughed.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul.
You've messed up your son's haircut. Do you try to fix it? Work with what you've got? Or show solidarity?
Thank you, babe. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Había un niño que era muy sensible a luces y sonidos. Construía escondites donde no podían entrar. No le gustaba mirar a la gente a los ojos, lo hacía sentir incómodo. Un día se descubrió que tenía autismo. Con ayuda poco a poco aprendió a vivir mejor con ello.
Mientras más pronto se diagnostique, mejor. Conoce las señales en autismspeaks.org.
Your son wants to get a cat, but you're allergic. Do you A, prepare yourself, B, make the best of it,
C squared equals
25.
Good job.
or C, find a loophole? When it comes to parenting, there are no perfect answers, but that's okay because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Teens in foster care will love you just the same.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation.
We can.
Get someone the cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates are fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
All right, welcome back. So first up in odd news, $867 trillion. That's how much one Ohio minister plans to sue the NFL after watching the Super Bowl. Dave Dobenmeyer described the halftime show, headlined by Jennifer Lopez and Shakira, as, quote, crotch-grabbing and soft pornography. Now, for reference, the U.S. federal budget for 2019 was $4.4 trillion. Dobenmeyer says he's gotten a lot of backlash online, but he has talked with his lawyer and plans to go through with the suit.
I have to say, I enjoyed the halftime show personally.
I did too.
I thought they did great. I think that's a consensus. Well, moving on now, a South African man has beat his own world record after he spent 78 days in a barrel hooked to the top of a pole. Vernon Kruger came down from the 82-foot pole after 78 days, 23 hours, and you heard it here first, 14 minutes. Kruger first set the record in 1997 when he stayed in the barrel for 67 days. Kruger said he stayed in the barrel for 78 days to make it harder for the next person to beat, but he doesn't plan on breaking his own record again. So, Anina, maybe you have a chance for a record.
I'll have to look into that.
We'll get you a barrel.
All right, and finally tonight, over the weekend, one firework in Colorado launched its way to a world record. The firework weighed over 2,800 pounds and was launched into the air a mile high. Tim Borden of Steamboat Springs has spent the last 7 years overseeing the project. The same team attempted to win the record last year, but couldn't get the firework off the ground. The Guinness Book of World Records attended the launch and confirmed its status as the largest ever, beating the previous holder by over 400 pounds.
Odd news is always just a font of information, isn't it, Anina?
It really is.
Yeah, where do you even buy a barrel that, like, I don't know.
I know I could
really
never
don't know
do
where
that.
you would buy a barrel.
I don't know why you would
how
want
do you hook it to a pole? Like, that
But
just
good
seems
for
like a
him.
lot of work.
It does, but I mean, he did it and he never has to do it again.
I mean, he persevered.
He did.
That's true.
A hero.
Also, I'm sure all of us will be persevering in the weather out there. Haley Poth joins us for another look at the weather. Hi, Haley.
Hello. Here's one last look at the weather for this upcoming week. Just a reminder, there will be a winter weather advisory for tonight into tomorrow, ending at 10 a.m. Visibility on the roads could be compromised, so use your best judgment. There will be no shortage of snow with 5 inches expected tonight, followed by 7 inches on Friday, with 16 miles per hour winds. The rest of this week, we will see on and off snow showers Monday and Tuesday, and we will see the temperature begin to rise again, but there's still no stopping the snow. Here's a closer look at the rest of your week.
All right, well, that does it for us tonight here at News 11. I'm so excited to have everyone back. Haley, what did you think about the man in the barrel?
The man, that's incredibly impressive. I don't think I could last that long.
Neither could
in
I.
a-
What about you, Kevin? You're a athletic man. Do you think you could last that long in a barrel?
I do not think so.
There you have it.
How long did you say it was?
78 days.
78. Did he have like food up there, do you think? Like astronaut food? I don't
Must
know.
have.
I don't know.
How many changes of clothes did he?
I
don't want to know.
All right, we'll look further into it. All right, well, thanks for joining us tonight. Again, we want to thank everyone on the floor in the control room and all of our co-hosts. We look forward to a great semester, and we'll see you right back here next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Good night.